Hello, everyone out there, and welcome to episode 41 of Bodied, the Cloud9 Fancast. Tonight, we'll discuss another big weekend of esports, as well as C9's Week 3 LCS results. I'm your host, havokpus, and today I am joined by...
Frozencreek, back from California this time, and a couple of family things, so I was kind of able to watch this week's games, unlike last time, so I'm here to talk about what I actually did see.
And I'm Ian. I'm here. I never left Texas, but I'm still ready to talk, so hopefully I have things to talk about. Esports and such.
Esports and such. Very good attitude. So let's get on with the show. So I'm gonna go through other esports.
Oh, just one quick thing.
Oh,
it's a couple weeks early, but in case I forget, I think our first episode was the beginning of July, so we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary.
excitement! We may have to do something special.
Yeah, I don't know what, but something.
We'll figure it out. We'll do something cool. Hopefully. If you guys are good. If not, I will turn this podcast right around.
Oh no. Okay, sorry. Continue where you were.
Okay, yes. So other esports. CS:GO. Cloud9 once again drop out of yet another group stage, losing to Fnatic and Gambit in both winnable close games. Not a good look for, having your players boast about. It's C9 summertime, BB. For Call of Duty, they played in a couple of events. They first played in the CWL relegation tournament, to which they qualified, beating out Supremacy and Tainted Minds. And then they participated in MLG Anaheim. They had a rough group stage, but they held it down, they kept it together, and they got to the top 6. They unfortunately did lose out to Splice, but considering with 2 new additions to the roster, finishing in top 4, that's pretty good in my book. For Overwatch, the team is currently participating in the Overwatch Contenders Tournament. The first half of the group stage is done, and the team is at 1-1-1. The group stage will continue this weekend on the 24th, so be sure to watch them and cheer them on. We need them to get out of this group stage.
Go C9. I'm cheering for you.
Please cheer. Overwatch is a very big part of our organization now, so we need them to do well. For Hearthstone, the Hearthstone boys won against the Korea All-Stars in the 3v3 Invin Global Invitational. I'm not sure how much of a big deal it is. I don't know about the Korea All-Stars, but we won, and that's all that matters.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Playing the card games. Sending people to the Shadow Realm.
Oh, I love it.
I'm pretty sure that's the right game. I'm pretty sure that's the right lingo.
Something like that.
Yes. Also, in a little bit of a H1Z1 PUBG news, I think it's just being called Battle Royale now. Cryptid and Mobs have left the team and is being replaced by Chappie and Solid FPS.
Solid.
Yes, very solid. Welcome to the team. Maybe this hints at seeing some hot H1Z1 action in the future. Who knows for sure, but I would certainly like to see this squad in action.
I didn't even know that there was competitive H1Z1.
I think it's still in its infancy. I think Players Battleground is starting to become the bigger game. So yeah, I think pretty much every team is shifting towards that.
Yeah, everyone's playing that now. It's actually crazy. It's one of the top games on Twitch, and everyone in the Discord servers that I like to hang out in is playing it right now. It's still in early access too.
Oh yeah, it's still a really good game though.
Oh yeah, it seems like a really fun game.
If you have
it.
It's so memorable too.
And I think the developers are really keen on community feedback. like they're constantly saying like, all right, here's what we've changed from like last week or whatever.
Mhm.
You know, we're listening to what you guys think about certain things, and we're trying to fix it and make the game better. So it seems like the game is headed in a really nice direction, and
Yeah.
I think maybe once the game gets a little older, maybe a bigger scene can be built around that. But
Yeah, that'd be cool.
yeah,
Just one more thing to add about esports. How's your guys' Magikarp jump going?
I'm taking a little hiatus. I'm looking to find myself, trying to recenter, get back on my game. You know, I'm gonna come back 110%. I'm gonna give it. You know, I just need to take some time out, visit with my family, visit with my loved ones.
There you go. Just take some time to figure out your life.
I'm in the luxury league. I just got there today, and it's not going well at all. It's so hard now.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You got to get back on that grind.
Oh no, I'm grinding. Don't worry. But
you could be grinding harder.
not really. I'm grinding pretty much as hard as I can grind at this point.
Oh boy.
But onto something semi-related. The C9 summer in CS:GO seems to be a year-round thing now, which makes sense because I was just in SoCal last weekend, and I know how nice it is out there and how it's like always summer. So maybe it kind of infected them. But at this point, I think that something has to be asked of them because they've been mediocre at best for quite a while now.
Yeah, they've been really inconsistent for sure. You know, it feels like it's like one step forward and then two steps back. Like they'll win some tournament or whatever, or have some really great victory, and everyone's like, oh, they're back on top. They've made it back to their form. They're gonna do great. And then they'll go to some other, like the next thing, and then they'll just get like crushed and they'll get out of groups again. And then everyone's just like, what happened, guys? What did you do? You know, and it just seems they're in like this really weird spot where they can't really get any consistency.
It's like spring split all over again.
Not like this.
Feels bad, man.
It feels so bad. I wish I got to watch the Overwatch team. Are there more group matches this weekend?
Yes. Last weekend was only the first half. This weekend is the second half.
And that seems like kind of an odd thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So something I forgot to mention last podcast that didn't really come to my mind, but I thought was kind of funny. I was wearing my C9 shirt at Acon last
Like
weekend. No,
Akon, the artist Akon.
You stole my joke.
No.
I was gonna make that joke.
I hate you. Just the at Acon when I was there, and it was like one of the artists there. Like I was walking around the art hall, and one of them was like, "Oh hey, C9, I like that team," and I was like, "Oh yeah," and she was like, "What teams do you follow?" And I was like, "Yeah, like League, Smash, and all that." And she was like, "Yeah, I really like their Dota team." And I was like,
Wait.
I was
Oh.
like, "Oh."
I have some bad news for you.
Okay. And I just kind of like went with it, but in the back of my mind, I was just like, "Isn't that gone? Like,
Yeah, they've been gone
isn't
for like
that
a
not
month
a
now.
thing anymore?"
Yeah.
But I just went with it. That was really funny to me.
I'm sorry if this is the first time you're hearing about
I'm
this random
sorry to
stranger
break
lady.
I'm sorry to break the news to you, but yeah, that's not a thing anymore. But yeah, that was funny. Someone also asked to take a picture of me just like by myself, so I don't know if they thought that I played for C9 for some game or what, but that was funny.
Yeah.
Hello.
You're on the Dota team.
Yeah, dude.
Yo, what's up, Trey?
Dude, great time
Trey,
to join in.
better late
Right
than
as we're
ever.
about to get in the league.
Hold on.
Dude, I missed the Akon conversation. I'm a little
Aw,
upset.
feels bad.
Oh, what's your favorite Akon song?
I missed Akon, so like I wasn't able to go to Akon.
Smack that.
That's probably his best song. I think that
Is that his only
Mr.
song?
Lonely is also pretty good.
Oh, which song?
He does Mr. Lonely, doesn't he?
I don't know.
Okay.
Was not prepared.
I saw him at Crawfish Boil once, so.
Dude, nice.
Anyway,
Well, on that note,
we're getting too off track. Let's get back on to let's
All
leave
right.
it.
All right.
Come on, team.
I have something relevant to C9 that should go before this.
Okay.
boy.
So Rift Rival stuff has now been finalized. It's now a 4-day thing. There's a group stage where each team plays each other once or twice in best of ones, and then they each play a best of 5 against the same ranking team from the other region. So the top NA team will play the top EU team. The second NA team will play the second EU team, and then the third NA team will play the third EU team based on that round robin. And they eliminated the king of the hill thing, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm not like super up to date on all of this. I haven't really.
It just came out today.
Oh, okay, yeah. I haven't looked into Rift Rivals too much, mainly because there wasn't a whole lot of info on it yet. But yeah, I'll probably read through this later. But yeah, as long as C9 will be there, I'll pay
And
attention to it.
Phoenix X1.
Yeah, dude. We're-
Yeah, they're gonna
NA
get
is
shit on.
sending
poor Phoenix
the 0-6 P1 to compete internationally.
Mike Young is a fucking legend.
heard he was actually
Don't you
really
say
good.
anything
No,
to
yeah,
him.
he looked really
He
looked
played-
really good.
He played so well.
That doesn't change the fact that they're 0-6.
Speaking of,
Have you heard the
Oh,
legend
man.
of Roccat, Ian?
Oh,
They were once
man.
0-6, and then they rose to glory.
They were once 0-6, yeah, but
Then they bounced back because they're Roccat.
yeah, but that I don't want to send an 0-6 team to do international stuff.
That's understandable.
Like,
remember when WE was China's like 11th team, went to IEM, beat Rocks?
Oh, Amanda.
There's always that type of hope.
dude, I hope they surprise me. That's all I have to say is I hope they surprise
Mike
me.
Young goes off and beats G2, Fnatic,
Mike
and
Young
Unicorns.
and Ryu just annihilate everyone and win the whole thing. Sing like hand in hand.
Wait, no. C9 wins the whole thing.
Yeah, you have
this
to
guy's
go for a
crazy.
team. What are you doing?
C9 wins the whole thing. P1
I
gets
honestly
second.
think all 3 top EU teams would be all 3 top NA teams in best of 5s.
We'll
In best of
we'll
1s,
have to
maybe
see.
not, but I think so in best of 5s.
I think the problem is I think TSM could take any EU team in a best of 5.
International.
The problem is
TSM?
I think they will get I think the whole international TSM joke, whatever you care about it,
I just want the meme to keep
TSM
going.
doesn't have that bad of a record versus EU teams, and neither does like mostly NA versus EU has been kind of close. I just think that like I don't know.
No, yeah.
Maybe it's
I mean, I totally agree.
I just believe in-
I just want the joke to keep going. That's honestly why. I'm
well, we
for
could
you.
always just say TSM lol.
Yes.
Like that's the easiest joke to make.
All right. Well, let's talk about Cloud9's current performance. Let's not get too far ahead in the future here. So Cloud9.
Hey, it's only 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, it's in like July. So Cloud9 played against Immortals and FlyQuest. The Immortals game was super weird, and FlyQuest was how it was to be expected, I guess. So, what were you guys' thoughts on the Immortals series? Because I think that's probably what we're going to be talking about the most.
How to throw at Baron.
Yeah, pretty much. They had a really solid game 1, and it kind of showed us like this is what Cloud9 can be. You know, this is how they can operate. And the games 2 and 3, we were just kind of running around panicking.
Yeah, inconsistency is just the name of the game right now. And that's how it's been for almost every NA team. It's just super inconsistent. Sometimes you'll see teams look absolutely dominant and just stomp the other team, and like stomp another top tier team, and it's like, wow, this team looks amazing. Is this where NA becomes really good or whatever? But then it's like the next 2 games they'll just look absolutely terrible, and it's like, what's going on? You looked so good game one, and I just don't know, man. It's every team is like this year. Like, it's not just C9, it's everyone.
It's not a regional thing either. It's happening globally.
Yeah, no, it's
like
it's happening to EU a lot too, because I keep up with NA and EU a lot. I watch Korea every now and then, but I'm not super up to date on them.
Well, the thing is, for almost every region right now, there is almost every team has a loss in almost every region. The few teams that don't have losses are either wild cards. Did UOL drop a game yet? I believe they did. Yes, they did.
Yeah.
So no teams in Europe, no teams in North America, no teams in Korea. The one team in China, OMG, I believe still hasn't dropped a game, or a set at least. But I think it's more so a problem of the meta right now, which I don't know if you could call it a problem or it's just a lack of adaptation in long series.
What do you like? What do you mean by the meta though? Like, elaborate on that a little bit.
So what I mean by the meta is like, there is, especially in competitive, I think there is a clear blue side advantage. And if you... The meta is in such a way where you can pick a lot of things, and there's a lot of high-tier picks across all roles. There's at least 4 to 5 top laners. 4 to 5 junglers easily. Mid is like
Mid has
a cesspool, honestly. It's huge.
Yeah, mid has a lot.
ADCs is a little bit linear, and supports are a little bit more wide ranged, but overall there's just a lot of unique champions that can be played and that are viable. And I think because of that, there's a lack of practice against some of these things, which lead to not necessarily upsets, just like unexpected results.
Okay.
So what you're saying is it's not entirely all our fault that we lost to Immortals.
No. It is our fault because Immortals, we were starting to get back in, and then we gave Baron, and
But we shouldn't have
when
lost
you do
that
that
game.
No, we shouldn't have lost
Yeah,
that game.
I think
But when you throw Baron, you deserve to lose that game.
When you throw Baron, you lose the game.
I think we maybe could have won if instead of contracts in that last fight, instead of trying to chase someone, he just ran in and smited. He killed the Elder Dragon instead. I think we maybe would have had a better chance.
Oh yeah, I think that the Baron thing was honestly a bigger deal because it took part over like 3 or 4 minute. It's like we stopped and started it, and then we got walled off, and then we just gave him too many opportunities to come back, and we either should have took the fast track and cut them off and split them up when the ADC was going to tower, or we should have just finished it. And instead, we gave them too much leeway, and we didn't engage on them. Though we had a Tom Kench, so it's kind of mysterious to me how we couldn't find a fight with them when they were obviously 4v3.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that because we had Tom Kench and Shen, so I think that we should have been trying to force fights a lot more, considering we had all these global ultimates that can be used to turn an uneven fight into an even fight, but we never seem to be utilizing these tools. I think the last time we had like a good submarine comp, it was Impact had Shen and Jensen was playing Zed, and we could have easily like did all these crazy submarine plays where Jensen just goes in and then we just have free access to the like a team's backline, but then we just don't use it. I'm not sure if it's an issue of just not being coordinated enough, or we just kind of forget the playmaking potential or what, but we really seem to drop the ball in this aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that and on the Baron, when we like actually went for it, I do think that Smithy made a really good play, but we still kind of threw it because it was out of damage range, and then Sneaky audited it a couple times, and then I think he shot an arrow through it, and Jensen balled through Baron, giving Smithy an opportunity to flash, execute, and smite at the same time.
To be fair, though, the second you see him Zonias, you can finish that Baron.
Yeah, that's true. But I think that it would have been hard to get that call instantaneously down within, like, what is it, a 2-second?
The problem is it was only at 2k health.
Oh, yeah.
Like, with smite and everything, you can, and the amount of damage you have, you can kill that
you can
Baron.
burst the Baron about, like, if you throw everything onto the Baron at one time, you can burst probably 1 to 1.2 thousand health down almost instantly, and then you have smite on top of that.
Yeah, and I think Sneaky might have thought that was the call then, because he started autoing it, which put it right into range for at least to smite execute it.
Not to go back on a previous point, but I just wanted to mention, out of the 52 games that have been played in summer season so far in North America, there's been 59 champions contested, which is both picked and banned. And out of the 221 that were played last season, last split, only 88.
221?
That includes tiebreakers.
Oh, I thought you meant champions. I was really confused for a second.
No.
Yeah, me too. I was like, wait.
That's 221 total
Okay.
games played and 88 champions contested. So we aren't even a quarter way through, and we're already closing in on the same amount of champions.
That number does
as
slow down a lot, like significantly, though, after the first few weeks.
It does, but it also speeds up when metas change,
That's true.
which
yeah, and
these next couple patches are going to have major
you never
changes.
know when there's
so.
going to be a big shift in the meta just randomly in one patch, because one little thing gets nerfed and that changes literally everything in the entire game. So, but yeah, I definitely agree with everything that you guys said. A lot of things. For me, the overarching thing that sounds like it's the problem, just kind of listening to what you guys say and drawing conclusions together, it sounds like communication is just the big thing that C9 needs to work on. Being able to say, here's exactly what we're going to do at this time, and being decisive with it, and having everyone on the same page at the same time in the same place.
I think part of it might have also been on the Zonias. Was that they didn't really expect, think about at least having Zonias like immediately, because it's not like an item you often build on her, so that might have been part of it, and that they might just not have thought of it fast enough to take down Baron. But obviously someone thought about it, because damage was put down on it in a smiteable range. But like this Baron throwing wasn't just an anomaly. We threw how many Barons against FlyQuest? At least one.
Like, that's what I'm saying is people. I'm not just speaking in terms of this series. I'm speaking overall when I say that C9 could use better coordination and decisiveness when it comes to their calls, because that seems to be a lot of times what gets them in trouble, is either someone getting caught out of position in like the wrong spot, or just not like being mispositioning in a team fight, or just anything like that. And then the other big thing seems to be objective, not necessarily control, but when it comes down to win fighting around objectives, that seems to be the big concern, is that C9, yes, they'll get to the objective and they'll be able to contest it or have control of it when the other team gets there, but being able to move from that situation of contesting to successfully contesting, either taking the Baron or winning a team fight, that seems to be the problems. Like, that's where C9 seems to have the problems.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree. And I think that it might be a mix of, I think, a few things. One, I think maybe language barriers. You know, Impact and Ray has English as a second language.
Mm-hmm.
I think also Contracts' inexperience, I think, is maybe holding the team back a bit, because the coordination that we have with him versus if we had this insanely experienced veteran jungler, I think would be a lot different.
Yeah.
And I mean, this isn't even his first full year. This is his second split ever.
He hasn't had time to build up that natural, just here's what's going to happen at this time, and I know that for a fact.
Yeah, exactly. And I think maybe it also might be just individual play styles and like approaches to the game just being slightly different.
Yeah.
And sometimes that just doesn't mesh well. Like Impact wants to play the game a certain way, but Jensen or Sneaky or Smoothie or Contracts want to play it a completely different way, and they have this whole different philosophy to approaching the game. And sometimes, you know, they can overlap, and I think that's the case with most teams, is that they overlap, but they're not exactly right on top of each other.
Yeah.
So it kind of gets wires crossed sometimes.
Yeah, and I do think that having that overlap is important for being able to play different play styles. That way you're not locked into always playing a tank comp or always playing a double AP comp or something like that. But having too much overlap is also a bad thing. And I'm not entirely sure if C9 has that or not. That hasn't been something that's really stuck out to me, I guess, is like super contrasting playstyles being the root of our problems, but I could definitely see that being something contributing.
Yeah. I do want to kind of move away from being a little worried about all the negatives that happened over the weekend.
Oh yeah, no, they're still doing great.
No, yeah, like sort of transitioning to a more positive approach. Our carries look fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Jensen and Sneaky,
Holy
they are playing
fuck.
out of their minds.
Hold on. Give your snaps for Sneaky's 1,000th career kill.
Blast those air
Third
horns.
in NA.
Pew, 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 pew.
LCS.
Pew, 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 pew.
All right, I got my snaps out.
Alright.
Yeah, that was the highlight of the weekend, I think. Although it was kind of like a KS almost. It was like anticlimactic, but it was still awesome.
Yeah.
I imagine Sneaky gets over there, just says "fuck you" in voice comms, takes it.
I hope that they put out the Penta this week and have Sneaky's kill on there, and have like what he says if he knew that was his 1,000th kill.
He just says Sneaky W.
Just says he XD.
Something really troll like that. That would be like the perfect Sneaky thing to say.
Yeah. But yeah, on a serious note, I mean, Jensen and Sneaky are playing out of their minds. This actually looks like probably the best, at least I've seen Sneaky and Jensen play so far. Sneaky's definitely stepping it up and really putting his work in to put out just a ton of damage consistently and trying his best to not get caught out too much. And Jensen's just completely dunking on people. He died so few times over the weekend, and he got so many kills and assists.
Yeah, Jensen's looking
he's just
like
putting
a
the team on his
god.
back.
Oh yeah, top lane is like the one spot that worries me. Everywhere else is just like, yeah, this is a solid team.
Yeah. Yeah, top lane definitely is kind of worrying due to Ray's, not being on the team very long, and he's a young player, and Impact just kind of being in this really weird slump where he's just playing really sloppily, and it kind of confuses me because, I know he's better than, because the thing is, we know he's better than this.
Yeah, no, we've seen him step up and perform like super well. We've seen him do so well, and just absolutely stomp everyone and look like one of the best top laners in the world. But right now he's just kind of slumping and not looking up to par with what we expect him to be. But yeah, I think that if he can start stepping up, C9 will definitely be a force to be reckoned with Jensen and Sneaky playing the way they are right now.
And I think he did kind of start to step up in Game 2 against FlyQuest on Renekton. He was ahead in CS against Balls. He was really bullying him out, and he was playing much more aggressively, and he looked a lot more comfortable. In Game 1, he got picked out a couple of times, but it wasn't necessarily his fault, because Moon was doing some tricky things that he didn't expect.
Yeah.
But
and I do like it's good that he's doing that, but at the same time that's what should be happening versus a team like that, versus someone like Balls, who quite frankly is not very good right now, and especially on like a lane bully like Renekton. That's exactly what should be happening, is you to like dominate the lane super hard and use that advantage everywhere else on the map. So if that wasn't happening, I'd be really worried. But it is good to see that. Just still, it's like, he still knows what to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Remember, Gnar is getting buffed soon.
I was gonna. That's a
C9. C9 free win.
Gnar was like
transition.
His big thing, for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna transition to next week's stuff, or I guess this weekend. LCS is gonna be on.
Can I say one more thing about this weekend? Okay, I was just gonna say that I think that we did see some good things about Cloud9. Their first game against Immortals was really clean, and they showed some cleanness against FlyQuest, finishing all three of those games pretty nicely by taking down towers with a pretty fast tempo. The only mislips were in Baron throws, so I think that there's stuff to look forward to, but I don't think that we've cohesively come together overall as a team. And I think that we're looking okay, but I think that there's still a long ways to go.
Well, it is only week 3, so we still have some really precious time that we can use to improve little by little.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on to next weekend stuff. So LCS is going to be on 7.12, and 7.12 gives us Corki and Jhin buffs, as well as, I think, nerfs to Rumble, Xayah, Ivern, and Redemption. And there's also some interesting support item changes for Zeke's, Theans, and Righteous Glory. So what do you guys think about this? Are we going to see more Corki? Are we going to see more Jhin? Are we going to see less of nerf stuff? Is it still too soon to tell since the meta's still kind of all over the place?
Well, I don't know. I know that I believe Rek'Sai also got a buff. I think it was Rek'Sai. Mal's got a nerf. Karma actually got a nerf. And then Camille is getting a buff. So we may start see her pop up again because of the early game cooldown on her passive. And if she can get through the early game, she is very strong. So we'll just have to see if that is a factor or not. Overall, I think the nerf to Redemption was like super important, but it doesn't make it not an incredible item. So that's good. I think it'll still be used and built very early, but the nerf was needed.
Yeah, I think it actually, you get more healing if you run the Wind Speaker's mastery, and I think the runic armor thing, you get like more versus if you didn't run it. You got like, there's a big gap, I think, between running increased healing versus like not.
Its new passive pretty much makes its heal amount affected 3 times as much by heal and shield power amplifiers.
Yeah.
It's so strong.
I hadn't read the changes to Zeke's yet, and it looks really, really cool.
I've actually played with it, and I was really confused on what it did, and it's not really explained well in the patch, because like there's two different passives it gives. One is the casting your ultimate near an ally will pretty much surround you in like a slowing storm while giving your connected person bonus attacks for 10 seconds. And the people who are in your little AoE slow burn for like 50% more magic damage.
Yeah, and then there's the Frostfire Covenant one. I have it open if you're trying to just do it off your head.
I also have it open, but you can do it. It's cool.
Okay, the Frostfire Covenant, basic attacking a burning enemy, ignite your Froststorm to deal 40 magic damage per second, and slow by 40% for 3 seconds. So this is a ridiculously, I guess, unique item. Maybe it's something that gets built on top laneers, like for 5th or 6th item.
Yeah, maybe. It's definitely
for someone like Gragas.
Yeah, it's definitely something new, and like a lot of times things like these, it's really hard to tell if people will build them or not, because I've seen a lot of times in the past, even an item that's good and that's strong, people won't build it a lot just because they're used to other items and it doesn't cross their mind during the heat of the moment. Like in game, it's like, okay, yeah, I need to build this item because these are the stats I need. And we saw that with ZZ Rots a lot for like 2 seasons or something. People just didn't build it, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh wait, this item's awesome. And like Banner of Command too, people just weren't building it for a while. So it's really hard for me to say how the item will turn out. It looks like it has potential to be really good in certain situations, but I'll just have to wait and see, honestly.
I am hoping that we maybe get to see some Kindred and Rek'Sai, because Riot has been giving them kind of little mini reworks to kind of tweak their kits a bit, and I really want to see those in action, especially Rek'Sai, since her new ultimate and how her kit works now seems more like a kind of a bruiserish assassin type thing instead of a frontline knockup bot. So I'm really hoping to see that, because her new stuff sounds pretty interesting.
I'm personally excited for Corki's changes just because I'm an avid Corki player.
Every time I hear a Corki buff, I just know Worlds is coming soon.
Slowly but surely. Alright, let's move on.
Yes. Worlds isn't quite here yet, but what is here kind of is the matches for this weekend. On Saturday, June 24th at 6 p.m. Eastern, we shall be playing against Team Liquid. Team Liquid, paid for by Steve.
Let's go TL, paid by Steve.
I fucking love the paid by Steve meme.
It's so funny.
It's so good.
They're sitting at a 1 in 5
I miss
record.
this meme.
It's one of those ones that has like
not
just enough
good.
truth to it where it's like super funny, but everyone knows that it's not really that true, but at the same time everyone also knows that it's like it's also kind of true at the same time.
My other
Or
favorite.
what happened?
Oh, they're making fun of the fact that like Steve in general just isn't a good owner, and just the fact that he is a huge sellout and uses his money to get like to basically bail the team
Fans.
out
Yeah,
of bad
like he did with the
situations.
double lift.
Yeah, like the double lift situation. He'll sell out for anything. It's just stuff like that. And it started in Twitch chat, wherever it was like whenever they got double lift, people were spamming like phone emojis in like baby rage, and they were saying it was like, "Hey Reggie, the check's in the mail," or something. Whenever TL was playing TSM, they're like, "Hey Reggie, the check's in the mail. just remember what we said in the back room, like from Steve or whatever. It was a copy pasta.
Dude, it's so funny. The fact of the matter is, TL has not done well for a long time.
Dude, this team is so bad. Like every single time.
No, okay. Okay.
Who did they
but-
beat? Echo Fox?
They beat Dig.
Yeah, they
Dig's
beat
one
Dig.
loss is to
And they
Team
shouldn't have
Liquid.
beat Dig.
And Team Liquid's one win is
it's so
to Dig.
weird.
It was like one of the worst I've like I swear to God, that was the Dig that got relegated like 2 years
Yeah.
ago. Like they played so awful. But I think Team Liquid's main problem is actually Piglet and Matt. 'Cause I think while their team overall is like not necessarily bad on paper, I don't think Rainover is a problem. He's just not really clicking, so to say. And Golden Glue's actually looking pretty good. Lorlo's looking all right. The one person, if I had to choose one to hate on, would definitely be Matt, because he just their team just doesn't look like it's working at all.
Yeah, I agree.
No, yeah,
Their team just looks like a mess. Piglet's the only one on the team that is doing well. Everything else is just complete disarray. It's so sad to watch.
I mean, we kind of knew that it was going to happen once they didn't change anything at all and just brought back in gold.
Oh,
and
yeah,
blue
absolutely.
And switched them out was it was
Okay,
switched, like,
Golden Glue
randomly.
has looked a lot
I'm not
better.
saying he's bad, just that they didn't do anything to get better. They just brought back Golden Glue, and even if he does look better than he did last year, like they still have Piglet, Lorlo, and Matt.
I do think that it's really weird because like Rainover, before he got onto TL, he was on Immortals and he looked so good with Immortals, and everyone's like, oh, we're gonna get some of that Immortals magic. We got Rainover now, and then he just completely kind of took a nosedive in terms of performance, and a lot of the games you see him play, he's just playing really bad. He's making really weird decisions. I definitely think Matt is to be at fault because his play has been just kind of poor for a while, and it's kind of making the whole team struggle because I think he's also kind of like their shot caller. So if your shot caller is underperforming, it makes kind of corralling the team to do what you want to do really tough.
Oh, yeah.
But
I agree with that.
I do think we kind of have to be on our game though, because Rainover does occasionally have good performances, and if we're stuck in that situation, it can be really hard for us to do a lot. Because I remember last season, I think at one point we actually struggled to maybe beat Team Liquid because Rainover was playing well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What I think, sorry.
No, I was gonna ask like how should Cloud9 attack this Team Liquid to make sure that it's a guaranteed easy 2-0.
What I think is that, like, it's very easy to just kind of blow off TL as a easy win, but I think especially we've seen during this season, there are no real easy wins. You do have to gain an advantage somewhere, and one of the reasons that TL was able to beat Dig is because of Dig failing to translate a good play into more. They weren't able to translate good plays into good decisions. So as long as we do that, I think we'll be fine. But if we don't, I think we'll have a real problem with TL.
Yeah. I think that's like I agree with what you said. This is a game for C9, or a series, I guess, for C9. That this is a not must win, but this is the kind of series that C9 should be winning, hands down. They should not have trouble with this team, and if they do, that's that is worrying if they have trouble with Liquid, because these are the kinds of games that should be free wins. But we've seen in the past that sometimes they're not, and that's sometimes where trouble can arise.
I think that just as long as they don't get too overconfident, it should be a slam dunk. I mean, when Cloud9 is playing super focused and they're not being cocky, they're playing 100%, they can really mess some teams up. So I think if we just treat them like any other top tier team and go in, play super smart, I don't think we should have too much difficulty.
Yeah,
one thing,
I agree.
Yeah, I do agree with everything you guys said, but I think one thing that Team Liquid has done well this split is getting the first tower. They've done it in 64% of their games, which is just under FlyQuest, who's first. And I think that if they pick the right comp, then we might have to worry about them snowballing off of a turret. But I don't think that they've proven to be able to play around that effectively, though, because their first 3 tower rate is average.
Stats.
Yeah, that's all I can add ever.
Well, stats are important. Do you guys have anything else to say about the Team Liquid match before we move on to probably the big game of this weekend against Dignitas?
I think we're good.
Okay. So, on Sunday, June 25th at 6 p.m. Eastern, Cloud9 plays against Dignitas. Dig is at the top of the standings and certainly a team to beat. Shrimp and Big have been doing a lot of work with the team, actually, and they're looking kind of scary. Shrimp, I think, has definitely brought a lot more explosiveness to the team in terms of how to move around the jungle, and I think Big, since he's kind of a shot caller, he's been able to make the team a bit more decisive. And they do have Someday, their superstar top laner, and they've definitely been playing around him a lot. I think the only thing to detract from this is that their strength of schedule hasn't been super big. The only top, quote unquote top team that they've played against is this season up to this point is TSM. Everyone else has kind of been on the lower end of the ladder. So maybe it's just kind of an envy situation where they do well because their schedule wasn't too strong, or who knows. But I think this is going to be a really tough game, just from what we've seen Dignitas do so far.
Just a reminder that Dig barely beat Phoenix 1.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh.
They beat them 1-2, and it was like, I think this was before they put Mike Young in. I did not see the games, but last week they beat P1 just...
They barely beat P1 with a Nori? If so, that's quite a feat.
I'm not sure if it was a Nori or Meteos, but I think they put Meteos in for one of the games at least.
Okay. This is news to me. Discuss.
Yeah, I think Dig's a little bit overrated. That they are looking good so far, but that their goal difference at 15 is dead last among all teams. Their first tower percentage is, I think it was second to last, or it was dead last, and then their first to 3 towers was second to last, or first to kill 3 towers in a game. They're first or second to last there too. So I think that even despite Cloud9's slow play, that is something that's easily exploitable.
And Dig still has to play for their last 3 the last 3 teams they haven't played. They still have to play Cloud9, Immortals, and CLG. So this is not really looking good when those are... Cloud9 is actually the one that stands out there as like you should win this if you're a top team for Dig. But I do think Cloud9 is a better team. So the problem is when you drop games to like Phoenix One and Envy and then lose to Liquid, there's a clear problem with your team.
Yeah, if you're supposed top tier team, like the standings say, you shouldn't have that problem. I mean, Cloud9 2-0'd Phoenix One pretty handily, which Dignitas couldn't be able to do that.
Ian, did you have something to say?
I don't know. I think that it's going to be a really hard series for C9. I think they have the ability to win it, but it's really heavily dependent on if Dig, if basically two things. If Dig shows up that day, like if they're on one of their down slumps, it's like C9 definitely has the possibility to win that. And then if C9's top lane is able to show up, because if their top lane isn't able to show up, that's going to be a real big problem. And so I want to say, my heart's telling me C9 for the win, but my mind is saying that I think Dig is the better team right now. So I guess that's kind of my thoughts on it.
If you don't mind me asking, why do you think Dig's the better team right now?
Well,
especially with their I was just gonna say, especially with their shaky win-loss and the fact that they've been on a downward slope.
Well, I wouldn't say they've been on a downwards slope. They only have lost one series, and while yes, they did look a little shaky versus P1, C9 is still 3-3 and Dig is still 5-1. It's like while performance in a given series, there is a lot to be said about that. I think that there is more to be said on overall performance throughout the split rather than looking at one one specific series in a vacuum. And that's also disregarding the fact that C9 has looked more inconsistent than Dig has. Like if you're trying to talk about how Dig has either looked on a downward slump or if they've looked inconsistent, C9 has looked more inconsistent than they have. And I'm not saying this because I don't like C9. I do, and they're my favorite team, obviously, but it's because of that I feel like I have to be real with them. I can't. I'm not a delusional fan that says, "Oh, C9 can win everything." It's like, no, I feel like right now they do look shaky, and I feel like Dig is currently the better team.
Okay, and I wasn't trying to.
No, yeah, I totally.
Be rude. I was just trying to get your opinion.
Get what you were trying to get at there.
My reasoning for why I think C9 probably actually can topple Dig is because when you look at the common opponents that they've played, which would be Echo Fox, FlyQuest, P1, and TSM, they have lost. C9 has lost one of those series, and assuming C9 is playing Liquid this weekend beforehand, and if they were to win, let's just say 2-1 against Liquid, they would both have a 4-1 record against common opponents.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is that against these common opponents, C9 has lost currently 2 games where Dig has lost 6.
So it's C9 has looked more dominant when they've won, whereas Dig has looked shaky when they win.
Dig has a lot more uncertainty when it comes to winning. It's more so with C9, it's either on or it's off.
Yeah. So it's C9 is like all or nothing, whereas Dig is not necessarily to those extremes. It's kind of what you're saying.
Kind of.
I think I see what you're saying. Yeah. Like I understand what you're saying. I just can't like put it into words super well.
Well, hopefully it'll be on this weekend.
Yeah, hopefully.
We're kind of running out of time, so maybe anyone have any last thoughts on the Dignitas match?
I have a last thought before we finish overall. Should I do it now or in a second?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, so I was looking at Oracle Elixir. That's where I get all my stats from. It's by a guy named Tim Sevenhuysen, I think. And he has this calculator. It's for win probability at 15 minutes. And it's in beta right now. And it was last updated on March 18th, so it's a little dated. And I think he takes data from all professional games around the map. And having a 0k goal difference at 15 minutes and it being even with dragons at 15 minutes, you have a 57% chance to win on blue side. I just thought that was a fun fact, and I don't think it's that much different now. I think that blue side has overtime has an advantage over red side.
That is a pretty fun fact.
So just fun fact. But yeah, we can move on now.
Indeed, extremely fun. I guess really quick, we should update the fans on our season predictions versus how the season has actually been coming out. For the most part, everyone put like Cloud9 and TSM up in the top 2. Teams like Immortals, frozencreek has Immortals near the bottom. Everyone has Team Liquid and Echo Fox and Envy at the bottom. And a bunch of...
I have Dig at 3rd, though.
Oh, that's true. You do have Dig at 3rd.
So that's my redeeming factor.
I put P1 in 3rd. Trey and Pi have P1 in around 5th. So so far,
I think everybody overestimated
yeah,
P1.
I think everyone
and Trey has FlyQuest at 3rd.
Yeah, I think.
Hey, look.
And Echo
right.
Fox at last.
Hai will fight you for the Asian honeys. He may not beat you in League, but he can beat you in fighting for the Asian honeys.
And
Yeah,
Echo
so-
Fox last. Don't forget that part. All you guys put it in Echo Fox last too.
Everyone put Echo Fox last.
I could have told you guys that they were going to be good.
Look, they can still lose.
No,
That's really
I was the
funny.
only. Wait, I was the only one who put Echo Fox last. What?
Havoc and Pi Magic Man have him 9th.
Yeah, but that's not last. They put
I said
Envy last.
last, and I said last and second to last.
Oh, okay.
Look, they can still
I
lose
have
all
them
of their
low, I
games
think.
from now until the end of the split. I'm still holding
True.
out on this.
I'm holding out on
Look, all right.
TSM losing
They're
all their
playing.
games.
They're playing the scrim team, so we never know how well that's gonna go.
Those sweet Delta Fox scrims.
All right, if they beat TSM this week, Ian has to come on and play us a song on trombone.
Oh God.
You better hope.
Man.
You better hope they lose.
Oh dear God, dude, that's
TSM would throw just for this, paid by Steve.
there we go.
I see. You have to get it paid by Steve.
Oh man, that would be something. That I don't know what it would be, but it'd be something. That's for sure.
Epic. Or yeah, I feel like I'd be an Echo Fox fan if I wasn't a Cloud9 fan. So I'm obviously biased. They're by far out of my second favorite team, I think. Well, not by far, because FlyQuest is like right there. I just really like Acadian and Froggen.
Yeah, I mean they're fun players. I mean I like Froggen. It's a shame that he continuing has to struggle
With Keith.
with Keith. To be fair, Keith is actually playing better.
That's not hard though.
Oh, true. When you're at the bottom. Getting him above
Yeah.
it is not that difficult.
When you're like Huhi level last season, it's not hard to get better. But yeah, let's finish up.
True. Yeah,
It's bedtime.
Bedtime for sure. What are your guys' predictions for next week?
4-0
Oh, boy.
week.
Oh boy, there we go. I like the confidence.
It's either 4-0 or 0-4. Quote me on it.
Go hard or go home.
Go big or go home.
Well, I think that they're going to 2-0 Liquid. They should 2-0 Liquid. And I made this prediction earlier, and as much as it pains me to do so, I think that Dig is going to win 2-1, because I think that Dig is the better team. I have to be realistic.
Well, that makes one of us, I guess.
See, I the only reason I say 2-0 for Dig is I think that if Dig has as much, if Dig doesn't get a good early game off, our late game decision making will destroy them. So, I just don't see, when they're also having trouble in the early game, them being able to pull something out.
It's like their early game is like really bad. Ours like is at least
Ours is okay.
statistically isn't that bad by any means. It's actually like above average. It's like third or fourth in most stats, maybe
There you
fifth.
go.
So like, and Dig is last. And I mean that doesn't explain everything, but like, I think that if Dig is gonna come out playing a terrible early game against us, that's something we can clean up. I think clean up and wipe the floor with. So I think what I think it should be, it should be a 4-0 weekend. Realistically, I think it's going to be a 4-1 with a loss to Dig, and we'll beat them in 3 games. All right,
Yes.
Havoc, it's your turn.
Best for last. Yeah, like Ian was saying, we should 2-0 Liquid. If we don't, I'm gonna be irate. You'll see it on the Bodied Twitter as I'm live tweeting the games. You'll feel my burning rage. As for Dignitas, I'm on the fence about. Trey does bring up a lot of good evidence. They've had a weaker strength of schedule up until this point. They've really struggled against some of these teams like Team Liquid and Phoenix One, which they, if they're going to be a 5-1 team, they shouldn't be struggling with, but they have. On the other hand, Cloud9 has been kind of inconsistent. Anything can happen. If Dignitas plays to their top lane, we could be in for some trouble. So I don't know. I think it's going to be 2-1. I'm not sure who to pin it on. I never like these situations, but that's mine. As for my moment of the week, it's probably going to be Roccat versus Fnatic, because that game was exciting as hell, and I love seeing Roccat win. Sharnan and Wadid are keeping this team afloat.
Dude,
on their skill alone.
That series was stupid.
The fact that they beat them was
There was
funny.
so much stupid BS stuff that happened in that series, and I loved it.
The thing is, I didn't even watch the third game, because I'm like, okay, Fnatic's going to come back in game 3 and just fucking crush
Roccat
them.
handed it
And
to
then
him,
Roccat
dude.
won.
They actually looked really good in game 3. It was fun. It was freaking great.
I'm telling you, Hjarnan is great.
No, dude,
And-
Herman's
and-
a god. He hard carried the fuck out of that second game, dude.
And Wadid help too. Like, him and Wadid make such a great bot lane.
Yeah, they look really
because they work together
good.
so well. Yeah, that's gonna be my moment. If you guys have any moments of the week you want to share.
Moments of the week, not really. It's been a relatively uneventful week, so I ain't really got much for that.
I would probably say my moment of the week was Dragon Ball Z Abridged new episode, because that's dope.
I need to watch that. I hear it's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny, yeah.
it's not really a week thing, but Phoenix One picked up this super cute streamer before the split started, who was previously seen wearing Cloud9 gear, and ever since they picked her up from being a Cloud9 fan, they have not won a game yet. So I'm gonna call it a curse
she's eating
now.
them alive from the inside,
Yeah, I'm
doing
gonna call
the
it a
good work.
curse. Yeah,
Poor,
serious curse.
Poor person.
What?
Poor person. They don't deserve this. It's not their
Poor
fault.
grills.
If Meteos would just practice. No, I'm not
Oh,
going to get
God.
into that. I really hope P1 gets their act together because it's really sad seeing them just like get so close yet so far.
Yeah,
All right.
I feel bad for Arrow.
All right, Ray is about to start a Rek'Sai jungle game, so I'm gonna get off and watch that.
All right. Well,
Goodbye. Or wait, no,
I
you
gotta
still have to.
sign off.
Uh,
I need the outro.
we gotta go
You don't do
gotta
fast.
be
Okay.
professional. You
Look,
guys.
I want. Look, just he said he was hopping, so I was assuming we were done.
Look, the bell doesn't dismiss you. I do.
Oh God.
You
Triggered.
can't just,
Then you get to
pass-
college and you can literally just walk out of class whenever you want.
Exactly. But thank you, one and all, for listening to the 41st episode of Bodied, the Cloud9 Fancast. Feel free to tweet questions and feedback to @C9Bodied or email us at bodiedfancast@gmail.com. Questions might be answered on the next episode, so get them coming. We're seeing a lot more interaction on Twitter, and that's really great to see. I really encourage everyone to interact. I'm usually there tweeting and such, so if you got any questions for us, if you have anything you want us to mention on the show or anything, feel free to interact. It's always great, especially on game days, to live tweet the match and then have people kind of responding and stuff. So it's really great to see that we're getting some more interaction, so please keep that up. It's really enjoyable. Other than that, thanks for listening to the show, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.
Goodbye.